All right, guys. So we're doing notes 8-4 today. It's basically a review of everything we did before Thanksgiving break. We're going to solve systems first by graphing and then by substitution. So remember, if we're solving by graphing, we have to graph them, and the thing that we're looking for is the intersection. So we're looking to find the intersection. So you have to be good at graphing to get these. You can also use your calculator to help. Let's look at our first equation. We've got x plus y equals 9, and we need to solve that for y. So the first thing we do is move our x's to the other side. Since it's plus x, I'm going to subtract it from both sides. The x's cancel on the left, leaving me y equals. I'm going to write what I did to my x first, so it's in point slope, and I'm going to add the 9 that's still over there. So it is solved for y now. Remember, there is a 1 in between that negative and that x value, so that means that our slope is negative 1 over 1. And then we need our y-intercept. That's going to be the point 0, 9, because there's our b. So I'm going to go ahead over and go to 0, 9. I'm going to start my points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's our first point. And since our slope is negative, it's going to go down and to the right. That's down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. I'm going to do quite a few points. The more points you put, the better your line will be, and the easier it'll be to see the intersection. I'm just going to connect them together. So there's our first line. Nothing too bad, just solving for y. Now let's go look at our other equation. We also have 2y minus x equals 6. We want to move our x's again first, so this time it's minus x. I'm going to add x to both sides. I get 2y equals x plus 6. But y is still not by itself. To undo multiplication, I divide by what's in front of y, and I do it to everything. Those cancel, leaves me y equals. X over 2 can be rewritten as 1/2 x, plus 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now we can pull our slope and our y-intercept out there. It looks like my slope is positive 1/2. My y-intercept would be the point 0, 3. So I'm going to go ahead and go to 0, 3 and start there. 1, 2, 3. Now my slope on this one's 1/2, so up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. I think that's enough points to see it. Connect those together. Now it looks like our intersection happened at a nice point. It looks like it's right here. That's over 1, 2, 3, positive 4. And then it's up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got my solution to be 4, 5. Now remember, we can check our solutions. We can plug them back into our equations and make sure they work. It's probably good practice to do that. Like if I plugged them back in here, it'd be 4 plus 5. Well, 4 plus 5 does equal 9, so we're good. So hopefully that's a good little refresher. Let's look at the next one. This is the same thing, except for, lucky for us, one of our equations is already solved for y. We have y equals 3x minus 7. So our slope is 3, so I'm going to say 3 over 1 for rise over run. Our y-intercept is negative 7, so point 0, negative 7. So I'm going to come over here and go to 0, negative 7. And then since the slope is 3, I'm going to go up 3, right 1. Up 3, right 1. Up 3, right 1. Up 3, right 1. I'm going to connect my points. Okay, so we're good with that one. Let's move over to the other equation. We're going to have to do a little work here. I've got 6x minus 2y equals negative 12. And just like the last ones, let's move our x's first. Since they're positive, I'm going to subtract them from both sides. Now I have negative 2y is equal to negative 6x minus 12. But y isn't by itself, so I have to divide it by negative 2. And divide everything by negative 2. Now I have y equals negative 6 divided by negative 2 gives me 3x. Negative 12 divided by negative 2 gives me plus 6. So again, I have a slope of 3 over 1, so the slopes are the same. My y-intercept is 0, 6. Let's see what this one looks like. So over 0, up 6. I'll make my first point. It's right here. Then my slope is 3, 1, so I'm going to go up 3, right 1. I can't go any higher than that, so I can go the exact opposite. Instead of up 3, right 1, I can go left 1, down 3. Now I can collect those lines together. Now, if you didn't notice this, because we had the equal slopes, you should notice it now. These lines are not going to intersect. They are parallel lines. And that means that there is no solution. So there you go, guys. There's your little review on the graphing part of it. Let's go to the back side and let's look at some substitution. Now it says solve by substitution. Some of you may be tempted to go back and do graphing. You can do that to check your answers, but if you don't show the work, you won't get the credit. So the first thing we want to do, guys, is pick one of these to solve for a variable. I'm going to go ahead and pick the top one just because. So I'm going to write y minus 2x equals negative 17. So I'll write up here just so you remember, number 1, solve for a variable. A variable. Now we've chosen y, so the thing we need to do is move our x's. I'm going to add them to each side. Now I get y equals 2x minus 17. So now I've solved one for a variable. I'm going to go to step 2. This is substitute and solve. Okay. So now I'm going to take my other equation, which was x plus y equals 16, but I know what y is. Y is 2x minus 17. So I'm going to write x plus, and I'm going to put it in parentheses even though it doesn't matter too much this one. I'm going to write in my y. 2x minus 17 equals 16. Now since it's a plus sign, there's nothing to distribute, so I really have x plus 2x minus 17. Let me do that one again. Minus 17 equals 16. I have some like terms that I can combine. X plus 2x gives me 3x minus 17 equals 16. Now I can move my 17 to the other side. Now I have 3x equals 33. And the last step, divide by 3. And I got that x equals 11. So that's a little bit of work, guys, but it's all pretty doable. If you think about it as a couple of small problems, it's not so bad. So now the last step is number 3, plug in and solve. Now I know what x is, so I can take one of my equations and plug that in. I'm going to go ahead and do the one that's y equals. So y equals 2x minus 17. And I now know that x is 11, so I'm going to plug that in. So I have 2 times 11 minus 17. That's 22 minus 17. If I do 22 minus 17, I found out that y equals 5. So our solution is the point, our x is 11, our y is 5. You can plug those back in to check. If you plugged it into the x plus y equals 16, you'd get 11 plus 5, which is equal to 16. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do one more. All right, last one. This one's a little tougher to pick what variable to choose, but you always want to choose a variable that's as alone as it can be. And right now, if I look at this one, a is as by itself as anywhere. So I'm going to have a plus 3b equals negative 7, and I'm going to solve it for a. So I'm going to subtract my 3b to the other side. Now I have a equals negative 3b minus 7. So now I have my equation that's solved for a variable. Now I'm going to use the other equation. I've got 2a minus 4b equals 6. But I know what a equals. It equals negative 3b minus 7. So we're going to plug that in. And this time, parentheses are very important. I have 2 times negative 3b minus 7 minus 4b equals 6. Now I have to distribute my 2 over the parentheses. 2 times negative 3b is negative 6b. 2 times negative 7 is minus 14. Then we have our minus 4b equals 6. I have some b's that are like terms here. Negative 6b minus 4b is negative 10b. Minus 14 equals 6. I need to move my 14 to the other side, so I'm going to add it since it was subtraction. Now I have negative 10b is equal to 20. My last step is divide by everything, or by what's in front of b, which is negative 10. Those cancel. Now I have b equals negative 2. Now that I know what b is, I can take my a equation over there. A equals negative 3b minus 7, and I can plug b as negative 2. So now I have negative 3 times negative 2 minus 7, which is 6 minus 7, which means that a is equal to negative 1. Oops, I don't know why I wrote negative 7, but it's negative 1. Now I'm going to write these in alphabetical order. I have a solution. And since it's a, b, I'm going to write negative 1, negative 2. And there you go. All right, guys, I hope this helps out a little bit. If you have any questions, of course, come and ask in class, and good luck.